The most common bedding material is cotton. Cotton sheets, pillowcases, quilts, duvet covers, comforter covers, you name it. There's a lot of cotton in most people's beds, but unfortunately it's not a great fabric, especially if you're a hot sleeper, you have temperature issues, or hot flashes. The problem with cotton, once it gets damp, it stays damp, and it keeps that dampness next to your skin. Ugh. For those of you who work out, you know this quite well. You would never wear a cotton t-shirt to go jogging around the neighborhood. No, it would get wet with your sweat, it would get heavy, it would get gross, it would keep you wet and clammy. You would never do that. Instead, what do you wear? You wear high-performance polyester. This is polyester that has been specifically designed to wick moisture away from the surface of your skin. By wicking moisture away, you cool down. This is called evaporative cooling. This is important both when you are trying to stay cool in hot weather, but also if you're trying to stay warm in cool weather. Back in the day, I used to ski, believe it or not. And one thing that outdoor enthusiasts know is it's very important to have a good first layer. This is the layer that is right next to your skin. And usually we would use high performance polyester, sometimes silk, sometimes wool. The reason we used all of these fabrics is that we wanted moisture, any kind of sweat that we generated, to be away from our skin. So if you're working out, going down the ski slopes, getting a little sweaty, but then all of a sudden you're at the bottom of the hill, now you stop. You have to get on the chairlift, and now you're going to spend 5 to 10 minutes not moving, and you don't want to freeze. So therefore it's very important that the moisture get away from the surface of your skin. So if we demand having these high performance fabrics for our workout, why shouldn't we use them in our bedding as well if we have the same issues? Quite frankly, cotton is not a great material. It keeps you hot when you're hot, and it keeps you cold and clammy when you're cold. And the other problem is, because it keeps you wet, it becomes kind of a breeding ground for everything. Bacteria, mold, mildew, dust mites. So what happens is, under the covers, it stays a little moist, and this creates a microclimate of humidity. And for those who know humidity, we want to keep things dry, under 50%. Under 50%, things don't tend to breed, but if you get things a little humid, then you get things that are replicating. One of those things is dust mites. Dust mites are microscopic little creatures. They are in the same class as ticks and spiders. They're tiny, and for most of us, they are completely harmless. They actually live off of the dead skin that we slough off. Again, pretty harmless. However, some of us, myself included, have allergies to their droppings. So it's a good thing to get rid of them. One thing you want to do is make sure that you thoroughly wash your bedding on a regular basis. I do it in hot water, but you also want to sort of prevent them from replicating in the first place. Same goes with mold, mildew, bacteria. Again, pretty harmless for most of us, except if you have some kind of medical issue, it might be. You want to reduce any kind of moisture in your bedding whatsoever. So it should be noted, if you have some type of skin problem, if you have allergies or an allergic skin reaction, make sure that you seek out medical attention. Don't get advice from YouTubers. If not cotton, then what? Well, one thing you can choose is, just like your workout wear, you can have high performance polyester. Again, this isn't regular polyester. This is polyester that has been designed to wick moisture away from your skin. However, polyester does have a certain feel. It doesn't feel soft like cotton. We do actually like the feel of cotton. So what are some alternatives that feel more like cotton? One of my favorite is cellulose fibers. And there are different cellulose fibers to choose from. Cellulose fibers are from cellulose and they come from wood pulp of various trees. So you may have heard of bamboo, you may have heard of lyocell. Lyocell is also sold under the trade name TENCEL. You may have also heard of modal. All of these come from wood pulp of trees. Sometimes you know where the wood pulp came from. Obviously, bamboo came from bamboo trees. Sometimes it comes from eucalyptus trees, sometimes beechwood. Obviously, since they come from trees, these are very natural fibers, and they also can be eco-friendly. In the case of lyocell and TENCEL, they actually use a manufacturing process which is called a closed loop. In other words, all of the water, or most of the water, and most of the solvents, they get recycled back and are used in the next batch, so they aren't dumped into the environment. So, very eco-friendly. This fabric is machine washable. This material is also very soft and lightweight, and it probably looks and feels about halfway between cotton and silk. So it's an excellent alternative if you like the feel of cotton, as I do. Next on the list is silk. Silk is very shiny and smooth, and again, it's another natural fiber. It comes from the silkworm. It is a little pricier, however. You may not be able to afford to do your entire bed in silk. One thing you can do is just do pieces. For example, I've done pillowcases made out of silk. This is especially important if you have, say, acne or other skin issues in your face and you need a material that, again, is going to keep your face dry and not encourage the growth of bacteria and other things that may aggravate your skin condition. Washing silk is a little bit more of a challenge. According to the instructions that come with the manufacturer, we're all supposed to hand wash silk. I cannot be bothered. I wash everything in hot water in my washing machine. And I have done that with these pillowcases. It's been a couple of months and probably half dozen to a dozen washings, and they're just fine. They did shrink a little bit, and they don't have that original shininess that came out of the package. They did get a little mottled, and they're a little threads loose where my cat claws have taken at them, but other than that, they're doing quite well. So you can machine wash them, but then don't put them in the dryer. Just hang dry them. They dry very, very fast because they're not cotton. Another great fabric is linen. It's another natural fabric. It comes from the flax plant. Like other fabrics on this list, it keeps moisture away from you. And it's actually very, very durable. In fact, there are stories about people passing down their linen sheets from generation to generation. Unlike cotton or some of the other materials on this list, which will eventually wear out, linen is one that will stick around for a while. Downsides, it is a little pricey. It's an investment. And also can be a little rough. In fact, a lot of the linen bedding that you'll find will be stone washed first. Next on the list is wool. To my knowledge, you can't purchase wool sheets yet, but if they are, I want some. But you'll find wool in other places, such as blankets or stuffing for comforters or stuffing for pillowcases. Again, wool is very good at absorbing moisture and keeping it away from your skin. Sometimes wool is machine washable, sometimes not, so you have to be a little bit careful about that. This example right here, this is a military style blanket. It is also what's called felted wool, and this is machine washable. The reason it's machine washable is felted wool is what happens to wool when you put it in the machine and agitate it. It shrinks and becomes very dense and has this type of feel. So if your wool is already felted, you can continue to machine wash it. If it's not, well, you may or may not want it felted. One thing to keep in mind if you can't machine wash your wool is that the other option is dry cleaning. Unfortunately, dry cleaning doesn't necessarily remove all of the antigens if you are someone that has allergies. So keep that in mind. So there you have it. If you're a hot sleeper or you have trouble sleeping because your temperature is off, You might want to take a closer look at your bedding and see what kind of fabrics you're actually sleeping under. Even 1 or 2 layers of cotton is going to counteract the good that some of these other fibers do. Consider replacing your cotton bedding with healthier fibers. Again, that is high performance polyester, cellulosic fibers such as Lyocell, TENCEL, bamboo, modal, silk, linen, and wool. And if you want to read more, there are links in the description below. Like always, like and subscribe, and have a good night.